Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back to 365 Days of Love and Miracles with A Course in Miracles. My name is Arlene Geres, and I am so glad that you are here. Please remember to listen right until the very end because we have a special treat for you. And if you enjoyed today's video, please click like and subscribe down below because this helps others to find us on YouTube. Today's lesson is lesson number 111. This is our first lesson in our third review. Before we read today's lesson, let's read the introduction to Review 3. Our next review begins today. We will review 2 recent lessons every day for 10 successive days of practicing. We will observe a special format for these practice periods that you are urged to follow just as closely as you can. We understand, of course, that it may be impossible for you to undertake what is suggested here as optimal each day and every hour of the day. Learning will not be hampered when you miss a practice period because it is impossible at the appointed time, nor is it necessary that you make excessive efforts to be sure that you catch up in terms of numbers. Rituals are not our aim and would defeat our goal, but learning will be hampered when you skip a practice period because you are unwilling to devote the time to it that you are asked to give. Do not deceive yourself in this. Unwillingness can be most carefully concealed behind a cloak of situations you cannot control. Learn to distinguish situations that are poorly suited to your practicing from those that you establish to uphold a camouflage for your unwillingness. Those practice periods that you have lost because you did not want to do them for whatever reason should be done as soon as you have changed your mind about your goal. You are unwilling to cooperate in practicing salvation only if it interferes with goals you hold more dear. When you withdraw the value given them, allow your practice periods to be replacements for your litanies to them. They gave you nothing, but your practicing can offer everything to you, and so accept their offering and be at peace. The format you should use for these reviews is this: devote 5 minutes twice a day or longer if you would prefer it to considering the thoughts that are assigned. Read over the ideas and comments that are written down for each day's exercise, and then begin to think about them while letting your mind relate them to your needs, your seeming problems, and all your concerns. Place the ideas within your mind and let it use them as it chooses. Give it faith that it will use them wisely, being helped in its decisions by the one who gave the thoughts to you. What can you trust but what is in your mind? Have faith in these reviews. The means the Holy Spirit uses will not fail. The wisdom of your mind will come to your assistance. Give direction at the outset, then lean back in quiet faith and let the mind employ the thoughts you gave as they were given you for it to use. You have been given them in perfect trust, in perfect confidence that you would use them well, in perfect faith that you would see their messages and use them for yourself. Offer them to your mind in that same trust and confidence and faith. It will not fail. It is the Holy Spirit's chosen means for your salvation. Since it has His trust, His means must surely merit yours as well. We emphasize the benefits to you if you devote the first 5 minutes of the day to your reviews and also give the last 5 minutes of your waking day to them. If this cannot be done, at least try to divide them so you undertake one in the morning and the other in the hour just before you go to sleep. The exercises to be done throughout the day are equally important and perhaps of even greater value. You have been inclined to practice only at appointed times and then go on your way to other things without applying what you learned to them. As a result, you have gained little reinforcement and have not given your learning a fair chance to prove how great are its potential gifts to you. Here is another chance to use it well. In these reviews, we stress the need to let your learning not lie idly by between your longer practice periods. Attempt to give your daily 2 ideas a brief but serious review each hour. Use one on the hour and the other one a half an hour later. You need not give more than just a moment to each one. Repeat it and allow your mind to rest a little while in silence and in peace. Then turn to other things, but try to keep the thought with you and let it serve to help you keep your peace throughout the day as well. If you are shaken, think of it again. These practice periods are planned to help you form the habit of applying what you learn each day to everything you do. Do not repeat the thought and lay it down. Its usefulness is limitless to you, and it is meant to serve you in all ways, all times and places, and whenever you need help of any kind. Try then to take it with you in the business of the day and make it holy, worthy of God's Son, acceptable to God and to yourself. Each day's review assignments will conclude with a restatement of the thought to use each hour and the one to be applied on each half hour as well. Forget them not. This second chance with each of these ideas will bring such large advances that we come from these reviews with learning gains so great we will continue on more solid ground with firmer footsteps and with stronger faith. Do not forget how little you have learned. Do not forget how much you can learn now. Do not forget your Father's need of you as you review these thoughts He gave to you. What a beautiful reading. We are encouraged not to forget how important these practice sessions are. This is such an important part of the course. It's one thing to just read the lessons, let the ideas go into our mind, and then go on to our day. It's a completely different thing to actually put them into practice. That is the intent, that we take these ideas and then we go about our day and we apply what we're learning to the different situations that come up. We will review 2 recent lessons every day for 10 successive days. We will observe a special format for these practice periods that you are urged to follow as closely as you can. This is very important. If you can't do them perfectly, don't worry about it. If something comes up, you have a special meeting, you have to go to the dentist, obviously we're going to miss some of these. But on the other hand, it urges us not to make excuses, because that is a clue that we're not as committed to our practice as we might be. On the other hand, it says that anything that we can give is going to make a difference. But just like going to the gym, if we spend 10 minutes at the gym or 5 minutes at the gym, or we just think about the gym, we're not going to get a whole lot out of it. But if we do a concentrated practice for an hour every day, our muscles are guaranteed to get stronger. It's the same with this. We are exercising our spiritual muscles. The way that we are asked to practice is 5 minutes twice a day, first thing in the morning, just before going to bed. The benefit of doing these just before we go to bed is that we tend to sleep much more peacefully. Whatever we're thinking about before we fall asleep is what tends to go with us into dreamland. I find when I do these practices right before bed, I have a much better sleep. So that's our 2 practice sessions. And if we want to do more than 5, we certainly can. Take those 5 minutes to just contemplate on the messages. Then throughout the day, we're invited to do 2 an hour, 1 on the half hour and 1 on the hour. Write the ideas down on an index card or in the notes on your phone. Set the timer on your phone to have a little ding and just read the sentence over. Think about it for a few seconds. It doesn't even take a minute. We're trying to train our minds to think this way all the time. And the only way we can do that is if we are consistently doing it throughout the day. Once again, if we miss a few, it's really not a problem. But we are trying to do them as often as possible so that these ideas become part of our regular thinking habits. Let's take a look at today's lesson. For morning and evening review of lesson 91, miracles are seen in light. I cannot see in darkness. Let the light of holiness and truth light up my mind and let me see the innocence within. Sometimes I like to go back and reread at least parts of the original lesson. In lesson 91, just a couple of things that jumped out at me. The first is miracles and vision go together. When I change the way I see things, I start to experience miracles. The second is light is crucial. There are only two ways of looking at things. One is through the darkness of the ego, and the other is through the light of heaven. We cannot do both. Back to lesson 111. I cannot see in darkness. If we're walking in the darkness of the ego, we're not going to see the light. An example of this is, this morning when I was out walking my dog, one of my neighbors wanted to stop and talk to me about the latest news. I don't even listen to the news in the morning, but he was all excited and all upset and wanted to tell me all about it. So I listened patiently and just tried to encourage him to see that this is not the truth of who we are. I tried to help him to see that when we're walking in the light, we really don't need to drag along all the darkness of the world. I don't know if he bought what I was selling, but I continue to try. This is who we are in the world. We are light workers. Let the light of holiness and truth light up my mind and let me see the innocence within. If I can't see my innocence, I can't see yours. Let me see my innocence. Another thing that happened this morning is I was listening to a talk from one of my very favorite people, Freedom Cartwright, a black woman who's talking about her experience of racism and how different actions of white supremacist groups land on her and how it re-traumatizes her every single time. Then she went on to talk about white privilege and how important it is for those of us in white bodies to stop and reflect on the different times in our lives that we have been given opportunities that a person who is in a black body or an indigenous person or a person of color may not have had the same opportunities. I went to guilt. I know that I've been given many opportunities just because of the color of my skin. I recognize that I was able to do things in my life that someone who has a different color skin may not have been able to do. Or if they were able, they had to work 100 times harder, 1,000 times harder to get there. So what do I do with this guilt? I stopped and I reflected. If I'm dragged down by my guilt, I am not going to be an effective light worker. So I say a prayer. Dear God, I give this guilt to you. Help me to see any other times that I might take advantage of my privilege and to ensure that my brothers and sisters of all different skin colors are given the same opportunity in that moment. I give this guilt to you. I choose to walk in the light. And I give it over. It doesn't help me to carry a heavy load of guilt. It doesn't help anyone. The only way I can carry the light is if I let go of all of the negative emotions of this world. Let's take a look at our review lesson that is meant to be done on the half hour. This is a review of lesson 92. Miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. I see through strength the gift of God to me. My weakness is the dark his gift dispels by giving me his strength to take its place. Lesson 91 is talking about light. Lesson 92 is talking about strength. God is both of those things. God is light and God is strength. And I can have both of them. Let's take a look back at lesson 92. Miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. It is God's strength in you that is the light in which you see, as it is his mind with which you think. When I'm thinking with God's mind, I have God's strength. Strength overlooks these things by seeing past appearances If I'm focused on all of the mistakes that I've made in my life, I was thinking about all of the errors that I've made in regards to racism. If I am going to hold on to that guilt, then I don't have God's strength. I need to look past these appearances of when I have been off track. I need to ask God to help me to forgive myself and forgive anyone else who might have been involved. All of the examples that I have seen of other people being racist. I can change me, and I can help others to see the light in me, to see the strength in me, and hopefully move past their errors. Let's go back to lesson 111. My weakness is the dark. His gift dispels by giving me His strength to take its place. I'm going to add to my daily prayer, Dear God, give me your mind to think, your ears to hear, your eyes to see, your words to speak, your heart to love, and your strength to share your beautiful message of peace, love, joy, and forgiveness. Let's finish the reading. On the hour, miracles are seen in light. On the half hour, miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. Thanks so much for listening right until the end, my friends. If you enjoyed today's video, please share the love. Tell others about these videos. Encourage them to start at lesson 1 and only do 1 lesson a day. Are you ready for our special treat? And here we have the friendly giant. Look up there, and he's holding all these people up there on his head, carrying them. He looks so happy and jolly, and they're all having a wonderful time. Here we have people hanging off his arms. Oh, what a delightful place. Miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. Have a day of walking in the light and sharing God's miracles everywhere you go today, my friends. I love you.